Yeah, that looks good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you, y'all. Okay, Tamashi was moving my screen. So I just wanted to announce just really quickly, but before I hop off, a celebratory announcement. Some of you have may have already heard. But Lisa Owens, who is the executive director of City La Vida Urbana, which is one of our anchor, well, not one of our, but which is our anchor grassroots partner, was announced as the new executive director of the Himes Foundation today. So very exciting news. And just wanted to, before we kind of get into some other stuff, just have a moment of celebration. Our people, our people, our people. That is Tamashi, who conveniently has her camera off. James and Sierra.
Yay!
Hey, thank you for that lovely announcement, starting us off at a high point.
For sure. Cool. So
Oh, sorry. Can I ask really quick, James, or others? Do you know the new director of the Boston Foundation as well? I think he came from Emerson Arts, right? Another strong ally entering the ecosystem at the top of funding, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Lar. So yes, so also yesterday evening, Boston Foundation announced Lee Pelton as the new I don't know if the title is CEO or president. I'll just say CEO and president of the Boston Foundation. And he's currently the president of Emerson College. So also very exciting news as well. Thank you, Lars.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Cool. So jumping into our code rec, as we mentioned before, I want to offer you all sort of organizational updates, offer you guys space to actually respond to some of these things. And so I want to be really clear, this is us offering what's happening in our world, and we want this to be a conversation. So really encourage you all to like tell us what you think, who you think we should think about, offer any suggestions. We're here to have that conversation. And so feel free to engage in that way. And so to start with a couple of updates on my end, and Sierra can join in on this effort too. We mentioned at our last co-direct, I believe, was that we're going to be launching our Year in Appeal campaign for the first time here at Ujima, and we have started that effort. And so it started maybe 2 weeks ago with our stewardship report, where we just sort of shared with everyone. I think you all should have gotten an email, just thanks for all the support you guys have given, the attendance that you guys have prioritized in as it relates to our events, and just really just thank you as a sort of like start to this campaign, and then sort of like soon to come will be a series of sort of direct solicitations around our theme of people, power, and participation. And so the people is going to be starting this coming Monday. And so hopefully, if you guys have supported our work as a donor in the past, you guys will continue to do that in the ways that are meaningful to you. But just really want to encourage you all to both participate in it, but also send it out to people that you care about. Send it out to your friends, your family. I think that if you're not able to donate, amplifying is just as helpful. And so just really encouraging folks to do that. And something I've also been thinking about, I think sometimes it can be hard to get, or I don't know, I think another opportunity to engage people to give is also thinking about a reoccurring sort of donation. I know something that we're hoping to really increase in our fundraising efforts in upcoming year is increasing our monthly donations and really building out that program. And if it's not like $100 at this point, maybe it's $10 a month, something like that, is just as meaningful for us. And so really offering that as an option as you guys engage with your family, your community around this effort will be very, very helpful. So yeah.
Yeah. is this? Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, thank you so much, James. And again, like, just encouraging everybody, if you can't spread it around, spread it far and wide. Just this Monday, or Tuesday, actually, Jesus, Sierra, we had our Giving Tuesday effort. So we were, again, like, in the spirit of collaboration, like, we are partnering with Union Capital Boston on this effort because we see collaboration as opposed to competition. It's really going to be like our way forward just as human beings, but also organizationally trying to encourage more of those behaviors in the sector and just, living our values. So for our Giving Tuesday effort, we partnered with Countdown to Kindergarten, First Teacher, Vital Village, Fathers Uplift, UCB again, and the Neighborhood Birth Center. So you probably, if you are on social media, then you probably saw our post about that. And other people's posts about it. So that was the first or the second, I'm sorry, iteration of this effort.
Yeah. And I also forgot to mention that along with our unit campaign, our collective goal in partnership with UCB is $20,000. That's our goal. And so we are we're on our way, and we're expecting to get most of that toward the end of the year. And so really sort of like preparing for that in this moment. So yeah, something to mention that.
Sweet. And moving right along on the comms front, we do have some exciting updates to share with y'all in regards to our websites and other communications that we will have in the new year. So the first one that I'm going to share, I don't have screen sharing abilities, but I can drop it in the chat.
I'm gonna give it to you. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, can you make me a co-host, please? Thank you. Yay, thank you. So I'm just going to share my screen really quickly. Is our new organized page. Yay. So this is an opportunity for our members and the public to kind of like dig into the ways that you can organize alongside Ujima. So there is, for instance, the Arts and Cultural Organizing section, the Black Mass Coalition. It's really just an overview of all of our efforts, past and present, that people can plug into, learn more about. And so on. So there's like Necessary Systems Daily, anchor organizing, and our endorsement policy. So again, it's just a way for people, an overview of how you can plug into the work that Ujima is doing. And for anybody that wants to join us.
Yeah, sure. So if you could just go to one of the sections, Sierra, just so people can see how it's organized.
This is probably a better.
Okay, which one? So for each campaign, for lack of a better word, we provide a really, really short blurb on the campaign. And for each one, we have a learn section and an action section. And so every section should have a learn section. Also, you'll see that in some of the campaigns under learn, for example, with anchor institution organizing and arts and cultural organizing, and I think even creative organizing, we have a placeholder for the member team charters, and we just say that that is something that we will put up there when that's developed and that's ready to go. But as I said, we've tried to provide whatever literature Ujima has, and if it's not literature that Ujima has created or owns, literature that we trust in each section, just provide some introductory reading. I'm actually glad that you're on this part, Sierra. Can you go back to the creative organizing, just really quickly? The creative organizing under neighborhood investment plans. The Learn document is actually right now the graphic that shows the 140 businesses that have been named by community members. Previously, we didn't really have a solid place that list lived. It would kind of flash across our home screen and it was hard to grab. But just want to make sure everyone sees that that's there. If you want to kind of take that list and circulate it around, for example, as you start to think about businesses that are in Ujima's ecosystem and network that you want to get to know a little better. You'll also see that we have under the Founding Business Alliance, we also have the Founding Business Alliance directory. Again, a place that should be easy to go and grab if you want to take it to someone, or if you want to send it to someone. And then, as I said, each section has an action as well. There are some where if we're still figuring out the action, then we just essentially say contact comms at ujimaboston.com just to say you want to be updated. So that's the case right now with the Divest Reinvest work, because that's actually part of a coalition that's still regrouping. Also the case with Black Mass Coalition, which is also a coalition effort. But again, as I said, really try to provide a place where you can see and others can see what's possible, what it's all about, get some, get some kind of basic grounding, and then start with the first step and jump in. And where does this show up? Because I haven't looked today, Sierra. Where does this show up on our site?
So if you go to ujimaboston.com/organize, you will find it very quickly. It's going to be in the top nav later on.
Okay, and I think the issue with that is there's limited real estate at the top. So we know that we want it to be visible for people to find easily, but then that means we then have to make some decisions about what goes and what stays, for example, in that bar and how we can just best utilize that space. So that's what we're trying to figure out right now.
Mm-hmm. Dope. And I'll stop sharing my screen, but just so you know, bostonUjimaProject.com/organize. And in related news, I guess, I'll say that we will be creating a Slack page for all of our member teams to utilize as like a space to organize thoughts, ideas in the member team groups. To organize in the member team groups as well. So that's upcoming down the pipeline. If anybody has any ideas or any questions about it, feel free to contact me.
Yeah, and I guess before I offer the last few updates, any questions related to the year-end appeal that I spoke about earlier, or the organized page that Sierra just walked us through from folks?
Okay.
Really? I'm surprised. No thoughts, no questions, no responses.
No questions, but congrats. How much work this is. Kelsey says, the first time ever, haha. But thank you everyone for all of the affirmation in the chat around the organized page.
Yeah, and also if y'all don't have any thoughts right now, if y'all want to like check it out, if y'all have thoughts later, I'm down to like connect about any of it. Cool. So last update, sort of org update that we want to share with you all was that the staff has just started to have conversations just about our member groups and just better trying to understand whether or not they are the right member groups in this moment. And so we're having sort of like deep conversations about assessing those groups and maybe determining maybe it might demand that some groups are combined, or some groups are paused for a period of time, or some groups emerge new in this moment. And so some thoughts that have come up has been that maybe we can consider having a member team that was focused on participatory budgeting broadly, and maybe that's inclusive of assemblies and that. There's also talk of us doing what was another new member group, just like I think outreach broadly, general outreach.
Bringing media creation was a
What's that?
thought. Bringing back outreach and media creation was another thought.
Yeah. And so we haven't made any sort of like solid determinations at all, but really want to sort of invite insight, perspective, thoughts from you all as we continue to think about this. We're hoping that at the top of the year, we can come back with sort of a set of like member groups that we're like prioritizing right now that we feel like a reflection of like what we need right now. And so yeah, any sort of responses, thoughts, ideas related to that?
Definitely excited about the participatory budget possibility, but also excited to sit and absorb and think.
Thank you, Kelsey. Yeah, no, it'll be really fun and exciting to provide for a deeper insight.
Hey, this is Lars, real quick here. For the participatory budgeting group, is that a study group, or do you have a sense of sort of how you'd like that to tie into city hall or community budgeting? Like, how does it fit in the overall sort of sense of what you would do with particular participatory budgeting?
Yeah, so I think that would be determined by the group, but I think just like as an organization that like prides itself on developing participatory process for communities, I think that is more or less what we'd be executing. So our assemblies are sort of an example of that. And so I think initially, at least, our thought was so that this group would more or less be prioritizing the execution of our assemblies as we have them, our citywide assemblies, our neighborhood assemblies, but that also can be inclusive of other participatory processes that we're engaged in. Like we've recently had conversations with the city office of arts and culture around a participatory process for artists. And so this group could be sort of like supporting that work. But I don't think it's a learning group. I think it's a project and sort of like execution sort of like group. But that's like focused on participatory process as Ujima like orchestrates. Yeah. Would you say it's Sarah? Would you say it? I think that's at least the initial thoughts that we had.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree. Lars says, thanks, James, helpful. Well, thank you, Lars, for your question. Does anyone else have any, the other thing too is that like teams can be added. So again, like if anybody has any ideas, wants to get a group of people together to start a member team, where our emails are always open, and you could, we're open to chat about it as well.
Yeah, for sure. Where are we? Oh yeah, and this, if y'all don't have any thoughts on member groups or any, love to, Sarah, do you want to talk about the Sarah update?
Yeah, definitely. So as you know, it's been 1 year since we voted on Sarah being our first investment. Woo.
Yes, 100K, big deal.
Big
more to come this coming year, y'all. So
yeah,
big deal.
Celebrate that. We wanted to celebrate that it's been a year since we've had this investment happen, and we wanted to bring people together and like have a conversation with Soto about what the past year has been like, a conversation with members, and just a general celebration of the first investment. So that's the announcement. That's the special moment that's supposed to happen next week.
Yeah. And so hopefully we're hoping to send out a registration link possibly for you all to attend. I think this is significant. You know, this is our first investment. You know, hearing from them how their experience has been as someone that has received an investment from this process that we've all been a part of, that we're all invested in. It could be, I don't know, I think it's going to be a really cool learning experience, and one that I think we're going to like replicate to some degree more regularly as we make more deals and we engage with more folks. And so hopefully you all can join. And it's going to be sort of the primary. I think we're still going to have member groups next week, but I think it'll just replace our political education section.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us know if you have any questions. Sierra, go ahead.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to pause for a second to see if there's any questions about that. Okay, no questions. All right, so I think that we can end the recording here. So long farewell to our YouTube subscribers.
Bye.
Bye.